Let's talk Hearthstone, Kobolds and Catacombs.
Legends tell of a vast underground world and the countless treasures that lie in store for worthy adventurers. You've signed up the best, you're on a great quest to find the mighty Mother Lode. There's treasure galore, but perils in store and construction that isn't up to code. Trespass with care, there's sure to be something rare. You can grab all the loot that you can handle. Such riches you'll own, but leave one thing alone.
You know, take candle.
And if you steal the light, you then must take flight, eluding each hazard and each strife. It's a chaotic race as the monsters give chase, and all the while you're trying to follow the map. They're gaining on you, your options are few, and you fear that you're never gonna get home. You sought after wealth, will you lose all your health? To kobolds and catacombs. It's kobolds and catacombs!
BlizzCon 2017 had heaps of different things to do with Blizzard news in general, and of course we got to talk about the Hearthstone stuff because they had some pretty big Hearthstone news.
They did.
In general, like it was like expected for some of it, but some of it surprised me. Like they got an expansion, Kobolds and Catacombs, which is unsurprising in nature.
Yep.
It's basically a given. Because Blizzard delivers. Like they go, if you expect they'll have these things, they almost always do. But Kobolds and Catacombs,
Take Candle.
take Candle, and it's basically it's funny because it looks like an adventure mode, but it's not. So I'm pretty sure now that it's officially the case of they are not doing adventure modes anymore. They are doing expansions, 3 expansions in a year, and they incorporate adventure mode type stuff on top.
That's always good.
So,
more content. Yay!
Yeah.
Everyone's happy.
And there's definitely more content with this expansion one, which is great. So 135 cards, which is a normal size for the expansions. That's how many cards you get with it.
Yeah, I recall seeing that number before, so it's like, is that just coincidence?
Yeah,
but yeah.
stuff. But they have a couple of new focuses. So one, for the first time, every single race, or a class I should say, is getting a new legendary weapon. So right now, I can't remember if any of them have a legendary weapon. There are some cards that summon legendary weapons.
But they're not their weapon.
Yeah, so now every single one of them has a specific one. And some of their abilities are quite unique. One of the interesting ones is Dragon Soul, which is the priest deck, so Anduin's weapon. And that one is focused around basically casting 3 spells in a turn, and that will summon a 5/5 dragon onto the field.
Oh, I get it, Dragon Soul. That Dragon Soul, for one thing, is a raid in World of Warcraft. Another thing, it's actually a big part of Deathwing's like betrayal of all the aspects. Because he just forged his powerful Dragon Soul, and which is where Cataclysm ends. You kind of all the dragon aspects put all their power into it, and then they blow up Deathwing.
And that's how Hearthstone always does it. Like it's always based off something in Warcraft or WoW more specifically.
Luckily, I know these things.
Yeah. So it's one of those ones who's showing like they have weapons, but it doesn't mean because the character doesn't really use weapons, or maybe they're more spell-based or whatever, their weapons don't mean they have to be like a warrior weapon, like it's just pure on attack power. It can have a unique spin. So Dragon Soul's one they showed. Another one was called the Analoof, which was one that has no attack power whatsoever, but at the end of the turn, when it's equipped, you draw 3 cards. So it's literally a weapon that draws you cards. It can't attack, but it's essentially a drawing mechanic on the top. So it's interesting the direction they're taking with some of these new mechanics. Like there's always new mechanics, and some are better than others, but the weapons sound interesting. And not many classes have weapons. There are some that have a focus on them. Obviously, Warrior does. And I'd say the Assassin class is the other one that's kind of
Valiera.
But we also have the Rogue. Not the Assassin, the Rogue. So the other focus, or another new mechanic, was the upgradable spells. So they call them spell stones, and essentially how these work are they have a condition to be met, and if you meet that condition, they get more powerful. So it might be like use this specific I think one of the Shaman ones was Overload 3 this turn, and this card will become stronger, upgrades into a better version of it. So they've got that mechanic now. So every class has these new spells that can become more powerful if you meet a condition. One of the interesting ones was this new legendary card for Warlock, which I can't remember the deck's name, but it summons these seals, and each demon seal summons a progressively stronger demon each time you use it. Eventually, I'm giving you this 10/10 card called Azari the Devourer, and that card literally kills off the entire opponent's deck, straight up. So when you get to that point, it literally devours their entire
It's literally
deck.
Exodia.
Yeah. So because Hearthstone's mechanics are different. So when you draw out, you don't lose the game instantly. It's you start taking life points damage or health damage.
Yeah.
I can't remember. In Hearthstone. So that's I guess difference there. But it is interesting how strong that card is. If you can get there, it's a lot. I think it's
If you
something
can
like
get
5 Demon Seals. Which is a lot of mana. It's like it's going to take at least of it 6 or 7 turns before you can do it. But
Plus you have to have the
it's-
card
and
in
that's
the
true
first
as well.
place.
Which it's an awfully powerful card when you do. There is one good thing though. One, Blizzard's already changed their structure for Hearthstone in the sense of you're guaranteed to get different legendaries when you pull them, which is good.
Yeah.
And the other thing is everyone who I believe it's plays Hearthstone next week will guarantee to get a new character called Marion the Fox, who I don't believe has any basis in Blizzard.
Never heard of him.
lore.
Are they a
new-
fox
he's
person?
No, he's more like a pirate essentially. He's like
Oh, I was just going off because the new WoW expansion adds a fox race. I was like, oh, they just put that in. But no, that's cool.
No, he's a pirate type 1. And his ability is he when he's summoned, he summons a treasure chest on the opponent's side of the field that when you destroy it, you received a gift. And they haven't shown what those gifts are, but it's one of those cards that has a random aspect of what's actually in that
Bit of
treasure chest.
RNG.
But yeah, everyone gets it if they log in next week, and everyone who was at BlizzCon gets a gold version of that card, which is, I mean, always good when you attend these events or purchase the virtual ticket or
Yeah,
whatever.
if you
get
live in
benefits.
the US or can fly there.
Yeah, well, the virtual ticket gives it to you as well, so that's always it's
Aha!
slightly justifying the fact you have to purchase it, I guess. Which
I
does-
get a
I guess
gold
make it
one.
free.
I get a gold
Yeah.
one.
I get
I
a gold
wasted
one.
money.
The other new mechanic was the recruit mechanic, which I like the potential of it, but they didn't explain it like to the full extent I think it needed to be explained. So basically, the way my understanding is how Ben Brode kind of like detailed it on the stage was
old
that
Ben Brode.
it's classic Ben Brode. I mean, he has so much enthusiasm. So when he comes out, like you go, yeah, I'm excited for Hearthstone because he's excited for Hearthstone.
Yeah, and he actually genuinely is excited. It's not like when like the core EA boss comes out, it's like, I'm so excited. It's like, are you? And then
Yeah,
Ben Bro's like,
yeah.
he's just loving every minute of it.
Yeah. Ben Brode loves making Hearthstone cards, and it's great considering he's the game director.
It does
but,
help.
So this new recruit mechanic, from my understanding, is it basically when you hit it's a card that'll say recruit, and when you use it, it pulls a card out of your deck that fits that requirement. So it might be like recruit a Divine Shield minion from your deck, and then it'll just randomly go in your deck. And if you only have one Divine Shield, which is like a special like ability over the top that's like
Yeah, so if
protection
they
from
hit
one
that,
attack,
it'll take a hit, yeah.
it will pull that card from your deck. So my understanding is
Yoink.
that that's how it works.
Yeah.
So you can build your deck a specific way to recruit and potentially overpowered card from your deck early. So it might be like, if you only put one Divine Shield, that's a really strong card that maybe it's only like a 10 mana card or something, and you use Recruit that's only a 5 mana card, you can potentially make a huge influx of like ability points. So I feel like Recruit ability might be very useful if that's what it does, because it was vague. The explanation was vague. I'm not sure if that's entirely what it was, but it sounded like that's how it works.
Yeah, otherwise it's pulling a random card out of existence, which isn't impossible, which is, I think cards already do that, don't they?
It sounded like it exactly does. There is, but it sounds like this one's from your deck. So it's a conditional thing where you're trying to make it forcefully pull out a good
Yeah,
card from your deck.
I guess that's why it
that's the
would
point.
have a different name. That's why it actually is called Recruit. So you would be recruiting another card, so that does make sense. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's why they always do is they build in these mechanics that have a specific name, so you know when you see them that the ones in the set will have recruit mechanic, and you go, that is what it does, and it makes sense. But all this being said, this is like usual Hearthstone.
Usual thing, yeah.
But they announced a whole new mode, and this is what is really exciting. And they've called it Dungeon Run. So fitting the Dungeon Crawler theme of this new expansion, it will be a single-player roguelike mode that is what they're describing as like their most endlessly playable mode. It's completely random, always changes, and the most exciting news is completely free. As far as I can tell, there was no caveats to that. It's free in every way because it's not using your deck at all. So you could you spend hundreds of dollars on Hearthstone. You could have every single card in the set, gold or
Or
whatever.
thousands.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter. In this mode, you're given a set deck at the start, whatever class you pick, and then how it works is they shuffle up 8 bosses from, I believe, all the previous expansions. So it could be the Naxxramas expansion, it could be the Knights of the Frozen Throne expansion, it could be any of these ones. Mix them up and place them randomly in any random order from those 8, and then you work your way through each one as you kind of progress through this dungeon. Now, I do wonder, because in the when Ben Brode was describing it, he set it up like a D&D type situation where he's explaining like multi-path, like you could pick this path or you could pick this path.
Oh, that will be even
so
cool. So it's like Fate, Hand of Fate a bit then too.
Yeah. Yeah, so I wonder if that's what's going to be. It didn't, from what they explained it external to that event, it sounded like that's probably not the case, but I would like if that's what they do, where they narrate it and give like some explanations or potential path diversions.
That'd
That
be
would
very cool.
But what I really like is, other than the fact that you don't need anything in Hearthstone, this is just, if you just pick up Hearthstone now, you can play this mode equivalent to what I would play it, having played Heaps of Hearthstone, with the exception that I probably would have a lot more experience with potential cards.
You would hope so.
Things work. Yeah. But as you beat these heroes, or beat each one, you get one more card in your deck. And I think they said you start with 10, which is already smaller than you normally have in Hearthstone, and you're building it up each time. So you beat the first one, you pick ability, and some of these abilities are pretty powerful. So they have passive ones, and these passive ones build on each other. And there's other ones that are just super powerful abilities that obviously won't exist in the game. So some of the passive ones were like, you could summon at the start of your turn 3 secrets onto your side of the board. So every time you start a new game, straight up 3 secrets just randomly placed on your side. Or another one could be double your health, starting health, so go from 30 to 60. And that's every round, and they build on each other. So you get both. So, well, far as I can tell, you get both passives. So you're making yourself stronger, helping you progress through this dungeon.
It's real cool.
Or you could pick really strong cards. So one of the one they showed was an ability that literally, well, one of them was crazy, but the other one I was thinking right now is the legendary one, which fills your board with legendary minions. It's just straight up 10-10, summon
Bang, bang,
as
bang.
much space as you got legendaries. But the one I was thinking that's actually like a random aspect to it was cast Pyroblast until one of you loses. So basically it's a guaranteed win card. Or lose card. It's
Or
basically
lose.
like, yeah, because it's just keep casting Pyroblast, which is 10 damage spell, until one of you loses. So I'm like, well, that one's just like I think it's like you pick that one if you just want a get out of jail free card, where it's like, I can't possibly win. Let's play this card and see what happens. So that the options and abilities, like this mode sounds really cool. And just how different it's going to feel the Hearthstone experience. And adding to the modes they already have. Like they've got the arcade mode with the Tavern Brawl. They've got the arena mode where you get to draft your deck as you go into it. And then, of course, they've got the ranked and normal play modes. So it's kind of got a little bit of everything. And then adventure mode as well as a separate thing, adding those in.
Yeah, Hearthstone is really getting everything in it now.
Yeah, it's just heaps to enjoy, and December is the release date for this expansion. So nothing more specific than that, but they normally aim for early in the month as opposed to later, so I'd expect it maybe first or second week of December as opposed to post-Christmas or something like that.
Yeah, it won't come out after like Christmas. It'll probably come before. Yeah, definitely before would be my guess.
Definitely exciting news, and more than honestly what I was expecting from Hearthstone at BlizzCon. Probably one of the main ones. I'm like, oh, it was a lot more than that extra mode. This extra dungeon run was just the cherry on the cake. Yeah, something bonus. Yeah, so hopefully you enjoyed this video, and if you have, please leave a like and subscribe, or give us feedback on what you enjoyed about it.
I has Hearthstone.
Actually, it's legendary.
For those who are brave and seek adventure.